Mariam Ali is making pasta in her San Diego home. She lives in the city's diverse Turalta neighborhood.
Because my kids, they love this stuff. Mommy, make the Alfredo sauce.
She pours the store-bought sauce into a pot, then spikes it with curry and ground African peppers. 25 years ago, Ali was begging nomadic tribes for a pot to boil what little food she had. She and her family had fled civil war in Somalia and were walking to a refugee camp about 200 miles from their home.
They took my house, they took my money, they took my all my belonging things, and I escaped with nothing.
Ali went from seeing a government toppled in Somalia to living for years in a camp with no civic structure, just United Nations oversight. Today in the United States, she's a super voter. That means Ali has voted in every election since becoming a U.S. citizen in 2003. Her first vote for president went to Democrat John Kerry.
I was like, oh my God. We went to the county office, and I didn't know what to do.
While voter turnout is particularly low among foreign-born Californians, community organizers based in Turalta have noticed something interesting. When refugees like Ali decide to become voters, they don't miss elections. A small survey of East Africans in San Diego shows 30% of those registered are super voters. That's compared to 20% of the state's voting population. And 3/4 are active voters, meaning they don't only show up for presidential elections like a lot of U.S.-born voters.
If I need something and if I don't vote, who knows me? Who knows my needs? No one.
Ali cares a lot about empowering women. She was pushed into an abusive marriage at age 14. She says her vote in this year's presidential election is going to Democrat Hillary Clinton.
I am very excited. Women can do what the men do too, you know?
Ali also cares about rising college tuition and racial inequality. She's surprised those things don't draw more U.S.-born voters to the polls.
I want my community members, like who live in City Heights, for them to vote and let them come out of the shell that they're hiding in.
Noreen H. Green lives down the street from Ali. She says racial inequality is exactly why she hasn't voted since the 1990s.
I talk to refugees and they think this is the greatest country on earth. And I see it from a different perspective because I'm a Black American and my ancestors were brought here as slaves and worked 400 years for free. And that's how a lot of the wealth of this country was built. So I see it from that lens.
Green comes from a family of super voters, and her husband is a super voter. But Green says casting a ballot would mean supporting a system she considers unjust.
Young Black men and women being killed, and there really have been no consequences for that. The fact that you have to have millions, sometimes $1 billion to even run for president. So I don't vote because I don't believe anyone deserves my vote.
Ironically, Green is interning with a nonprofit that works to get out the vote during election years. It also organizes the community around social justice issues. Green says for her to vote, the system would have to look a lot different. And she says it will be those she organizes, the Black Lives Matter protesters, immigrant dreamers, and refugees like Mariam Ali, who will shape it.
I think it's important to empower people that they can make change and be leaders and create this mass of people that can make change, because it's going to take a mass movement.
Voting advocates in Turalta believe refugees are that mass to push for change at the ballot box. San Diego has resettled some 100,000 refugees since 1975. To them, that's 100,000 potential super voters. Megan Burks, KPBS News.